A very good afternoon, a very good morning, a very good evening, depending on wherever you are watching from. I want to appreciate new subscribers. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you so much for your subscription. It means a lot. And to those who came through and connected through my video, foreign nationals in South Africa, valued for greed or targeted for exploitation. Thank you so much for the engagement. It was really enlightening to actually, read all these comments. There's so much, man. And based on the topic, last week's topic, people, came through and shared their views, and so many questions were asked. If foreigners are really hardworking, especially Zimbabweans, if you are really hardworking, why are you not working so hard in your own country to build your own country? If you are so educated, why is your education not working to uplift your own country? If you believe that you are better than us, why are you not bettering your own country? These are questions that are being asked, guys, and wow, these are valid questions. And I know some people feel offended and get angry. Why are you asking these questions? Yes, they're important questions to ask. If you do believe that you work so hard, you are better than a local person in terms of your energy, I don't know, your intelligence, your smartness, why is that not working in your own country? Well, it's difficult to unpack, very sensitive, but somebody asked a question that I thought today I should do a video and answer that, well, in my own opinion and my own understanding. They said, why is it difficult for Zimbabweans to go back home and fight for their country? Why is it difficult for Zimbabweans to go back home and fight for their country? This is a very important question. Are Zimbabweans coward? Are they scared of their own government? Are they scared of their own politicians? Why are they not like South Africans? Because as we are seen with Operation Dudula, March to March, and all other civil society organizations standing up for South Africans, they are coming together, they are fighting for their country. They know what they want. They are not prepared to leave. I once spoke to this guy I know, and he was struggling to get a job in South Africa. He's a South African struggling to get a job. And I said, if you go out there are countries that are hiring people with your qualifications, and they earn a lot of money. You get a lot of money, like 5 times what you could be earning in South Africa. And the gentleman said, I don't want to leave my country. I don't want to leave my country. I cannot just pack my bags and go. And by then I was in South Africa and I'm thinking, why can't you just pack your bags and go? You can just do it. I didn't get that part because as somebody who just packed and left, I thought it's just easy, it's just easy. You can just pack your bags and like there was no reason for this gentleman to just pack his bags and leave his country. So yeah, back to the topic. It's quite difficult for Zimbabweans to fight to go back to their country, fight for their country like South Africans do, to sit back and say, I'm not leaving, I'm fighting. One major reason that I've realized over the years is that there is so much political polarization in Zimbabwe, which is a major barrier. You cannot unite Zimbabweans to fight for Zimbabwe because of that political polarization. We've got historical moments, of course, in the 70s when we're fighting the colonizers. ZANU back then and ZAPU came together. They united to fight the colonizers. They united to fight the colonizers. The Shona people and the Ndebeles also came together back in the 1800s, the First Chimurenga War. They united to fight the colonizers. We had a common enemy. In 2017, we united against Mugabe. The whole country was in agreement that Mugabe was old and he had to go. So we came together and we put our political regalias aside and said, Baba must rest. Baba Bona must rest. It's time for a new leader. He cannot go on. It cannot continue. Even those people who loved Mugabe so much, they agreed that he had to rest, right? We had a common enemy in the 70s. We had a common enemy during the first Chimurenga War. We had a common enemy in 2017. After that, or in between, what is our common enemy? Because that common enemy, that whatever it is that we're gonna agree that's the problem in Zimbabwe, we need to all of us agree on it. But to get to that, we need to remove this political polarization. When South Africans came to comment on my post that I did last week, they came as South Africans. They did not come as somebody from EFF wearing their political regalia. Um, they did not come from ANC. They did not come from PAC. They came as South African. This is something that Zimbabweans are failing to do. We are failing to do that. So this extreme political polarization, it's so deep. This partisan mentality, it's so deep. The regional divisions are so deep. They currently dominate the Zimbabwean society. Whether a person is in diaspora or is on the ground, it's a huge, huge problem. So to think that so Zimbabweans can just pick up arms and fight whatever it is, are they agreeing that the government of Zimbabwe is a problem? Are we in agreement? No, we are not. There are some people who are actually in diaspora who don't think the government is the sole reason why we've got these problems. It's difficult to even unpack our problems because we do not agree like we agreed in 2017. We do not agree as we agreed in the 70s. We do not agree at all. You can be speaking sense. Right now, I can sit here and speak and preach all I want. But there are Zimbabweans who are sitting somewhere on social media who just be like, nah, I don't agree to what you're saying because you are wearing this regalia. You belong to that group, whether it's true or it's by assumption. I'll be silenced simply because of that. Someone would be speaking from the opposition or from any other camp, but because they don't belong to this other group, that the favorite group, you are not politically correct, comrade, because you don't belong to us. We go on social media when somebody asks questions and want to hold a certain leader, Zimbabwean leader, accountable, asking questions. Who is funding you? Where did this money came from? Or why are you dishing these millions to people when we can put this money in hospitals? But we go back to who is asking. What is their agenda? Things like that. Sometimes I ask myself, "Oh, why are we even like that? Why are we asking such questions when, we should be addressing an issue without asking where this person is coming from? So this is where we differ from South Africans. I've learned so much being in South Africa about our own people, about our behaviors, things that I was not going to learn if I was sitting in my village where I come from. I'll give you a very clear example. When I was back home um, in the early 2000s, yeah, okay, never thought of I'll leave the country. My mindset or my political mindset was centered around what I heard from the village headman, from my MP, from the chief, from ZBC, from Radio 2. Same voices, same ideology, things like that. That's all I knew. There was a lady who came to our village, Sekai Maskana Holland. She belonged to the opposition. She belonged to MDC. And she came trying to mobilize the people of Zimbabwe against the government, against Mugabe, against the ZANU-PF. The youth militias were standing right there. Of course, from ZANU-PF, they were standing right there, waiting. Just want to see who is going to listen to her, who is going to buy into whatever she's talking about. And they were right there. These people pointing to Sekai Maskana Holland. Well, sorry, I always say her full names because that's how she introduced herself, and it stuck with me for years. And they were like, we want to see who's going to listen to Sekai Maskana Holland. If you listen to her, we want to see you at the next meeting. Man, people were so scared. Whatever she was talking about, whether it made sense or it didn't make any sense, we didn't listen to that. We just saw a Western puppet because that's what our youth militia said. That's what we saw. So anybody who came to our village to talk about anything different from what we heard from ZBC, from our village headman, was talking nonsense. They were talking nonsense. We believed in whatever we believed in. Now you move to diaspora, access to information, different ideologies. You now hear a story from a different perspective. You begin to read about these things, different newspapers, different media platforms. Your mind is open. You are able to analyze and evaluate things differently. Your mindset is not now led by a 50 kg of maize meal or 50 kg of mbeu seeds that you get from the village headman. It's no longer that. You are open-minded. But how do you then come to mobilize other people to say, I've seen the light? How do you begin to do that? But is your mindset also fully open to understand the challenges that your country is facing? How long does it take? So to get to that stage of becoming like South Africans, it's a bit difficult. It's really, really difficult. Even people in ZANU-PF are more united by their own ideology, what they want. But they are also not in agreement that maybe some of their leaders might be causing problem. Oh, I'm being very careful here what I say. It's a very sensitive issue, and I will tell you right now and right here that I'm being very, very careful what I say. Whether we like it or not, but well, sometimes it is what it is. Are they in agreement? I remember the anti-sanctions, which was started by civil society, by the way. It was civil society pushing on the forefront and all that. South Africans were in support. They were supporting. They came through, man. They were right there. What do you guys need? How can we assist? I remember also during Cyclone Idai, people were together. They were coming together. They were assisting. You can see loopholes. You can see that right here. We have got people supporting, yes. We've got people uniting, yes. But within that same camp that seem to be supporting, there is still disagreements on what are the causes. So as long as you are not agreeing on the causes, whatever you're gonna implement as a solution might not come through. So that's some of the problems that I've realized that hindering the progress in Zimbabwe. As long as we are not agreeing on all of this, the solution, man, we won't march in the streets of Harare. We won't march in the streets of Bulawayo. We won't confront our mayor in Masvingo. We won't confront our mayor in Berengwa. We can't do that because we are not agreeing on things that are more critical that we should be agreeing on. So we end up with this partisan thinking, and citizens are actually less likely to challenge any government official from their own group. This is both for people in ZANU-PF and for people in CCC or any other political parties. So people in CCC cannot go and march in the streets of, let's just say, in the streets of Chitungwiza if their own mayor or if their own MP is to blame because, well, the partisan politics. You cannot hold anybody accountable. You cannot ask questions. So we end up dancing around the causes. And what I've seen our people do is that we push this one person or these two people who are speaking out. We push them. Why can't you do this? And we are speaking in the corners of our homes. We are speaking behind social media. We are pushing them. Why can't you go and fight? Why can't you see? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do this? This is Zimbabweans against the Zimbabweans. Things that we can't do, we will expect the next person to do it. Even the leaders who are speaking, they are not leading from the forefront. No, they don't. But when there is any type of victory, leaders will jump in and claim all the credit. Fight, I'm the one who fought the anti-sanctions. I'm the one who was on the forefront. Or when we spoke about Zim Lives Matter and the August 1st events, I'm the one who was on the forefront. I'm the one who led. We jump into wanting to take this victory. So this has demoralized a whole lot of people. They sit back. Yes, there is a South African who is watching, who is listening, and who will say at the expense of our country. And that's so true. But the question that I'm trying to answer here is why can't Zimbabweans go back to their country and fight? There are other reasons that I might not be able to articulate that will need the very educated Zimbabweans. A very educated Zimbabwean is also another problem. To an extent, a very educated Zimbabwean is also another problem because they use a book to think. They use theories, good English, well-articulated analysis with no action. They do things by the book. So it's a bit difficult, man. It's a big bit difficult. And as I shared, you would find out that you are in Berengwa or in Gokwe. Your mindset is blurred by your surroundings, your environment, the people you hear from, the lack of information, right? Now you have moved to South Africa, you have moved to the UK or any other country. You are now exposed. You experience certain things, experiences of migration. You now know certain things. But there are still people in the rural areas who are isolated, who don't know anything that is happening in the country. They just know, we are in trouble. Something is going on. We are suffering. But they just really don't have a clue what is really going on. I didn't know that we've got people in South Africa in exile until I got to Joburg and I worked for somebody who was in exile. The person started sharing and showed me their feet, like they were abducted, beaten up, and things like that. And well, well, it was just something else. I cannot go into detail, and I can also not share who the person is. It was my first time to actually hear that these things are happening in our country. I was like, what? Nah, you lying. You lying. But as I got exposed to, to more information, to more people, I'm like, wow, okay. So I'm mentioning this because there are so many people who are that isolated, that things that are happening in Harare, in somewhere in Gokwe, they don't even hear about it. It's only now that we've got WhatsApp groups, people are forwarding videos, people are forwarding this and that. So to critically analyze or understand the situation in our country, it needs more than um, just born a fighter. It needs you to understand that information. It needs you to be exposed to certain people who actually shed the light. Like, I was there. This is what is going on in the country. I was there. This is what happened to me. It needs that. So between 2005 and 2014, there was not much social media going on. There was not much conversations happening. So people came to South Africa, started working in South Africa, whatever job they got, were just excited, happy to have a job. And people were just working all these minor jobs, sending money home to take off the family. Nobody had a plan to say, I need to save up. And yes, there were some people who thought, when I got to South Africa, I'm just going to work 1 year or 2 years and put together money, go back to my country and help and help out to build the country. They thought it was just going to be that easy. And other people, well, like I mentioned, they did not save up. They did not see this coming. They did not see Dudula coming. They did not see much on much coming. They were just excited and thought, well, you get comfortable. You get comfortable, and once you get comfortable, you lose that fight. You whatever you came planning to South Africa, you get comfortable because you see the street lights. You can swipe your card at the ATM. You can move around. You can buy yourself a cell phone. You can now communicate. Wow, things are nice. Hominat. So you forget about this whole fight. So it's quite difficult to even unpack. And I hope that as we move and have these conversations, we can be able to unpack. And if you are sitting out there at home, a South African or anybody who wants to come through for us to have conversations and ask those challenging questions, well, so that we can also reach out to people. And I know there are people who are banging their screens, who are angry, who say you can talk you can preach, you can talk whatever you want to say, but look here, Zimbabweans in South Africa must leave. Foreigners in South Africa might leave. We want our country back and all that. But I hope that we can be able to have these conversations, because there are some people who've been representing on social media attacking. They are not really having conversations with the people who are affected, which is the South Africans. You are just attacking, which brings us to the next video that I'm going to do, which is on the arrogance that was mentioned when somebody responded that Zimbabweans are arrogant and you have got this entitlement. I hope that we are able to learn from all of this. I'm talking to Zimbabweans right now. I hope that you are able to learn from this and you can be able to contribute to these conversations in a more respectful manner, and you are able to also add in the conversations. If you have got something to say in what I've shared today, please, you are more than welcome to share in the comment section, and so that we can have the next conversation. And you are also welcome to come through if you are able to do it virtually, via Zoom or whatever platform you prefer. We can also have this conversation. Thank you so much for watching, and keep your comments coming through. Thank you. Have a great day.